Hey again, welcome back to Coding with Drew. In this section, we're going to learn how Bash interprets commands. So far, we've learned a bunch of miscellaneous pieces to Bash, but we don't really know how they all work together. Let's break down how Bash operates. I don't expect you to have your hands on the keyboard during this video. Take great notes and turn it into a blog post, which you can share on Twitter and LinkedIn. I'm looking forward to reading it, so make sure to tag me or use hashtag coding with Drew. Okay, in this video, we're going to learn these 6 steps. Bash operates with 6 steps, and the third step is rather large, but it's all related to expansion. So tokenization happens when the command is first sent to the terminal. And so what it does is it says, look for words and operators and distinguish between the two. So everything that is a word, search term, $, curly brackets 1, that's a word, find, this one is a word. Imagine each one of these is a word. And the quotes make it so that everything inside of it is one word. And so then the next thing it's going to do is command identification. So what it's doing is looking for a termination at the end of a line. So imagine every new line has a semicolon at the end of it. And if you're at all familiar with JavaScript, it has semicolons everywhere. Bash doesn't require it. You can use it or not. It also interprets a new line. So if I press return and put a new command here, that would be a separate command. It would terminate this command. There's also other operators, which will be in the notes section. So I hope you read through that. They are like and, or, and semicolon, semicolon. They each have their own application. We'll probably do a deeper dive in that in a later video. Okay, so now we know each one of these lines is their own command. But if you didn't, and say these were ran together like this, you would know that this is a command and this is a command because they're separated termination operator. Okay, so let's put that on a new line again so it's a little easier to read. All right, so the next thing that happens is expansions. And you can see I've laid out what order the expansions happen. Okay, so search term is a variable. And so it's going to replace search term with whatever this equals. So we're going to replace search term right here with what that equals. Same thing here. We're going to replace 1 with 1. So this whole thing becomes 1. And this whole thing replaces 3. I think I'm missing a plus. There we go. All right, so the next thing is mathematical expansion. So it's going to come in here and evaluate 1 plus 2 and say this is 3. And then it's going to remove the expansions. And then it's going to come down here and it's going to remove this and replace this with 3 as well. And it's going to remove the expansions. And then it's going to evaluate this 1 plus 3 is 4. And it's going to remove the expansions. And so now it's going to replace 4. I think I skipped this one. It's going to replace 4 with 4 and remove the expansion. All right. Next thing it's going to do is command substitution. So pwd, we know if I run this command found bacon from this directory, it's going to output this. So pwd will be replaced with that. Then tilde will be replaced, tilde, I always say tilde, /users/admin. And this is different for each computer, and the computer knows where home is. Okay, and it looks like I missed the first variable expansion, which should be replacing this. Bacon, or replace that. Bacon. Okay, so the next thing it does is word splitting. So it's going to look for spaces between words and like equal signs. It's going to look for anything to separate words. It could be tabs, it could be returns, like you see here. Okay, and now that it has the word splitting figured out, it's going to do globbing, which we discussed in the last video. And globbing, which is just file name expansion, and that's pretty much it. So we've already covered this. Now we're going to do our quote removal. So bacon will have these quotes removed from it. And then if we had redirections, which we don't, they would happen. And if you're not sure what a redirect is, these will be in the notes, but there's multiple different kinds and they always involve the less than or the greater than sign. And these tell what to do with the input or output of a command and send them somewhere else. Say in the past, we've echoed something to a file name.txt. If I executed this echo, instead of it outputting into our terminal's standard out, the standard out will be redirected into this file. And if I used two greater than signs, it would append the 4 to the end of this file. So every time it ran, you would have a new line and it would say 4, and then the next time it ran, it would be 4. But one greater than sign would rewrite the file or create it if it didn't exist. Okay, so the last step, step 6, is execution. So now it runs through and runs this command, this command, this command, then this command, then this command, then this command. It's single threaded, so it means it starts at the top and works its way down. And you have now learned how Bash works underneath the covers. I hope that you at least have a better understanding of what the order of operations are when dealing with Bash commands. I'll see you in the next video.